Good evening. Welcome to Wolfe County High School for Wolves Blue Esports action. Today's matchup is part of the Elite Eight of the KHSAA state playoffs. So we're so excited to bring you this matchup tonight between Wolves Blue and the Williamsburg Yellow Jackets. So we're going to take a look here at our champ selection.
We start right off the bat with Wolfe County banning out a Nivea and Tarek, followed by Cassiopeia to finish off their third ban for their first wave. We then move on to meanwhile, for Williamsburg, we start with a Nasus, Cho'Gath, and Jax ban. Three focused primarily at Wolfe County's top laner. As is usual with a lot of these games, they'll start off by banning a good portion of Wolfe County's top laners champions. So we start now with the first pick for Wolfe County. He'll be locking in Ezreal for his ADC. So, first pick. Now we go to the top laner for Williamsburg. What's their team name?
The Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets. Okay, the Yellow Jackets, who go with their first pick. Who lock in the Sivir for their ADC as well. Sort of doing the same thing Wolfe County's doing, unlocking in champions for other people, which is good. Smart plays. We now go to the jungler for the Yellow Jackets, who locks in Pantheon. Pantheon's a very interesting champion. A lot of early game. He's very strong early game, so that might have to be a pretty big problem for Wolfe County unless they shut him down early, because he's known for having a fairly weak late game. So if Wolfe County can shut him down early, they should be able to steamroll over him if the chance arises. Now we go to Wolfe County locking in Warwick for their jungle. Warwick being a prime selection for Wolfe County's jungler. Very familiar with them. We got Wolfe County now locking their mid lane, locking in Silas. Silas being one that Wolfe County's mid laner's been picking up recently. Very strong champion with a lot of potential with him with his ultimate. So it'll be a lot interesting to see some plays coming there from Wolfe County's mid laner. We now go last to the mid laner for the Yellow Jackets?
Yeah,
Yellow Jackets. Honeybees, let's call them. The Yellow Jackets, who lock in for their mid laner. Who'll be going with Vladimir. Vladimir's a pretty big nuisance of a champion to deal with. Ability to, use his Q to heal himself pretty much infinitely. But if they can, CC him without his going to his blood pool, they should be able to take him down. Now go to the second wave of bans, starting with Yellow Jackets, who lock in the Sona ban. That's actually, they usually would ban Alistar, but they've actually banned Sona. That's kind of interesting. We now go back to Wolfe County with their ban. We'll be going with Galio. Alright. We now go back to Yellow Jackets with their last ban, who go straight with a Riven ban. Riven's one that the top laner for Wolfe County plays a lot of in his free time, but hasn't yet taken into this. So they've been doing a lot of research to take that out as an option, knowing that it's someone he has a lot of experience playing. So very interesting. As you now get the last pick for the bans for Wolfe County, who ban Braum. Good ban on that. Braum's very strong if he can get his auto attack or his Q onto somebody in those auto attacks to get that stun off. So that's good. As we now go with the Morgana lock in for the support for the Yellow Jackets, we now go with the lock in for an Alistar. Is he gonna hover Alistar? He's hovering him, so he might lock him in. As he locks in the Alistar, we now go with the last pick, picking for the top laner for Wolfe County.
A lot of top laners still available up for grabs.
Yeah, such as Darius, Yorick. Those are just a couple of name-off people that he's been playing a lot of.
Urgot.
Yeah, Urgot as well. As it looks like he will be locking in Yorick. There's the Yorick lock-in. Good strong champion for Wolfe County's top laner. One of the ones he's actually got a pentakill with. That's going with the Tryndamere lock-in as well. Tryndamere might be a pretty big problem for Yorick, being with his ult as well as his dash, to be able to get out of his wall that he throws up. So Yorick might have a little bit of work for him if he can able to get around that Trinidad Dash. So, yeah, there's the teams locked in.
All right, so let's take a look here at our starting lineup for your Wolves Blue for spring 2019. In the top lane, we have senior Cody Sargent. In the bot lane, running ADC, we have junior Cameron Caskey, and his support is junior Jeremy McKinney. In the jungle, we have junior Matt Riley, and in the mid lane, we have senior Brendan Bush. So that is your Wolves Blue for spring 2019. We also want to take this time to thank our wonderful esports sponsors, Appalachian Wireless, Mountain Telephone, Licking Valley Rural Electric, Farmers and Traders Bank of Campton, Whitaker Bank of Campton, and Sweetheart by Stephanie of Campton, Kentucky. So thanks again to all of our esports sponsors. All right, so we are now in the spectator delay. Drew, got any other insights into the matchup?
Between the two teams, in terms of the ban phase, I noticed that, like I said earlier, you can tell that the Yellow Jacks have done a lot of research to know to ban out, specifically people like Riven, because that being a champion that Wolfe County's top laners had a lot of experience off in his off season, playing in his just on his personal time. For them to know that that's a very strong champion that might be a potential pick for him, that's good research on their part. Now, between the champions themselves, York and Tryndamere, York might have a slight advantage in the early game, but once Tryndamere hits his ultimate, that might be a pretty big problem for York, because that ultimate from Tryndamere just allows him not to die for 5 seconds, which could be a big potential turnaround in his favor. If York can be able to keep away from that for that long, or be able to burst him down before he has a chance to use his ultimate, which is entirely possible, but not very easy, then York should have a pretty substantial win in the top lane. But both are very synonymous with big split pushers, so if they can get those team fights going between the other 4 people on both teams, and those 2 people are in York and Tryndamere be able to split push, that might turn around the game in either team's favor if they can get those objectives. Between Warwick and Pantheon, Warwick having his Warwick should have Pantheon's going to have a pretty strong early game advantage over Warwick because of his bit of CC, but Warwick should turn around the mid to late game because Pantheon is very synonymous for having a falling off pretty drastically in the late game. So they're the best thing that for the Yellow Jackets want to have to do is to prioritize and get ahead in that early game and get a massive enough advantage to where Pantheon's late game won't be that big of an impact and hurt them in the long run. Between Silas and Vladimir, that matchup is just entirely based on who can get the more damage off faster. Vladimir known for having his blood pool, which will allow him to escape almost any bit of CC if he times it just right. If Silas can be able to get off his damage, though, maybe land his second E, which will be that knockup on Vlad and stop him in his tracks, Silas should be able to out-train him. So it'll also be that. As long as, with Silas being able to steal ultimates. There are a few ultimates on their team which aren't the best to steal. The ones he'll primarily want to focus stealing would probably be the Pantheon ult to jump in on team fights as well, or the Vladimir ult to throw down for that, which will also heal him as well. If he rushes his Anyas, he can steal Morganos to get like a team-wide route, potentially, so he might want to prioritize that as well. Between the ADC, Sivir, and Ezreal known for spamming his abilities off. If Sivir can get her spell shield off and block a lot of his damage, that might be a pretty big problem, but if he can, get that spell shield out of the way, he could probably out-trade with those wins.
Well, if you're just now joining us, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the little bell to get notifications for your Wolves Blue all season long. We thank you for joining. We're going to switch over here to the match, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Over there?
taking a while to load, ain't it?
Yeah. Should jump up to 100 here once the time comes. There it goes.
92, yeah. All right, so we are jumped into the game here, and the loading has jumped us up to 20 seconds. Your Wolves blue is the blue side, so they will have the blue bar above their head. As we see a quick invade here, looks like the entire Yellow Jackets team is trying to come on the Wolves blue side.
Yep, we see an early invade coming there from the entirety of. Then we see Pantheon with that jump flash. We see a flash over the wall from Ezreal, managing to escape that. Good play there. As you now see them all sign back to move to lane. Pantheon did burn his flash as well as Ezreal, so that's a flash down on each side. Now everyone moving. York deciding to ward the top lane, or the Yellow Jackets is a red buff. Seeing how they got that invade, get a little bit of extra vision there. See Silas waiting around topside Pixel Brush, waiting to ward as well. Warwick and Alistar sitting towards bot side. Ezreal having to back after that early invade, forcing him to, use his flash, but he managed to escape. Okay. So Ezreal did get out safely, so at the expense of his flash. He does now return back to lane as well, full health. As we now see the leash is starting, and the game has begun. Both junglers farming pretty evenly, as well as both of them getting the red buffs first off. We see Silas mid lane having a little bit of a push early on that Vladimir, actually, as well. He might have to watch out, though. Him being melee will be a pretty big hindrance to his farming potential, at least for the early game. So he'll have to watch out for that. York having a pretty strong push in the early game as well, taking advantage of that early game abuse against Tryndamere without having his ultimate. Silas pushed up very far up in the mid lane, deciding to back off as well. Pantheon coming in for that early gank as well. Vlad going to try and do something here, but not going to be able to do much, as Silas is able to get away without having to burn any summoner spells. So he is pushed up pretty far. As the Ignite Flash from Vladimir gets first blood, Silas should have backed off and decided to back in lane. Him pushing back up like that was a pretty not the smartest move. Giving Vlad that early kill. He was way too low to try and stay up and engage. At least that part definitely is enough at level 1. That was a pretty big problem for him to do that. Pantheon now moves towards bot side. Looking at Pantheon's going to take advantage to be very aggro in the early phase. We see him already moving down for another gank towards bot side. Morgana missing her Q on Alistar, just barely, as Tryndamere throws and gets his W off onto the minions, or onto the Tryndamere for his minions to go and jump him. We see Silas now push back in his lane. Vlad pushed up pretty far. Have to watch out for the potential ganks. Vladimir is pretty strong, though, for not having to worry about ganks as much with his blood pool. If Silas and Warwick, though, can manage to CC enough Warwick, get his fear off, Silas and Warwick should be able to take him out pretty easily without having to worry about that blood pool being that big of a problem. York continuously having the lane pushed up top side now. Having to watch out again for Silas. Maybe getting another gank coming from the bot lane. We see Pantheon pushing back up towards mid lane. So Silas will have to play a little defensive, at least early game. Pantheon looks like he's going to be prioritizing the mid lane specifically, so he'll have to watch out for that. Wukang's bot lane pushed back towards their tower now. See Warwick now going for his, continuously going for his jungle king. Warwick maybe going for a top lane invade now. No, actually deciding not to. There was a ward drop, though, by Tryndamere into the topside bush, so Warwick will have to watch out for that. Tryndamere does have vision of that area. Pantheon sitting towards mid lane. You see Pantheon pushing back towards mid lane. Maybe just moving through mid lane back towards his topside jungle. Looks like he's doing so now. As York is pushed back towards his side of his lane, but he'll have to, play left side. So we see the W on the minions. We see the wall coming up. Tryndamere is going to dash to the side to avoid it. Nice attempt from York there, but again, that Tryndamere dash is going to be a pretty big problem for him to be able to effectively use that. So Vlad push again under mid lane. Another dash from Tryndamere out of that wall again. The only way that York should be able to effectively use that wall is if he could get out a. Oh, York did manage to back. Tryndamere almost stopped him, but York did manage to get back and managed to back successfully. So, that was interesting. We see again Ezreal and Alistar now slightly pushing out the lane. Still pushed back a little farther. Now the lane is pushed pretty evenly. Morgana throwing another Q there, not gonna be able to connect with anything. Sylas managing to push his lane up back in mid lane as well. Overall, the lane's now pushing back pretty evenly. As Pantheon goes for his Krugs now, we see Warwick doing the same on his side of the jungle. York now returning the lane. Tryndamere has pushed up pretty well. Tryndamere is now going to go ahead and back. Or actually, he decides to... No, he's going to back. Sylas now playing a little back in the lane a little bit, letting the minion wave push up. Let's go ahead and check the farm real quick while nothing major is going on. Between the top laners, York is up about 15 CS in the top lane, as we see Warwick up about 10 in the jungle. Vlad is up about 10 in the mid lane versus Sylas. Sivir up about 5, about 10 up in the bot lane. So overall, farm is dispersed pretty evenly between the two teams in terms of the difference. No major items have been bought yet. We do see Warwick does have his Tiamat, so that already does give him a pretty large power spike that's early in the game. So we will want to watch out for him making some pretty strong plays here in a little bit. I want to say now both top laners are now level 6, as well as both mid laners. both ADCs are level 5, probably pretty close to getting level 6, as both supports are also level 5. Junglers are still behind. Warwick is a little bit up. He is level 5 versus Pantheon's level 4, but Pantheon should hit level 5 pretty soon. Another dash from Tryndamere. Right now, after using that dash, would have been a good time to throw that wall up. So, Sylas sitting pretty low HP or low mana in the mid lane. Sylas is pretty known now for having a pretty strong pretty strong need for mana, specifically in the early game. Might be a pretty big problem for him. So we'll have to watch out for that. Tryndamere now deciding to go and maybe going all in on York now. He does get trapped in the wall this time. We see a gank coming down bot lane from Pantheon. So Ezreal is going to flash it, also using his heal, but he is going to manage to escape successfully. He did burn both his heal and flash as well. Morgana did use her exhaust, but not to anything successful, as both Ezreal and Alistar did get away. Right now, there's a good combo we see him forcing a flash from Tryndamere. Already out of Tryndamere was in a pretty safe position. He could have ulted and just been fine if he would have took most of that damage. He didn't really need to waste his flash there, but I mean, a flash is a flash. He did manage to get away pretty safely, so flash now gone from the top side. Vlad now returning to lane. Sylas backing as well. We see Sivir and Morgana now backing as well on the bot side. Ezreal and Alistar taking advantage of that by getting somewhat of a gap close on the CS difference between the two bot lanes. We see the W through the thing on there. We see the wall coming up, not going to be able to connect with Tryndamere as he manages to avoid it. Tryndamere taking a lot of damage from those York minions as well. So we already see Vlad does have a proto belt. So Vladimir does have his first item built in the mid lane. That is a pretty strong item for Vladimir too. So Sylas with the Q going to connect. First hit is going to hit on Sylas or on Vladimir, but not the second explosion. York taking some pretty strong push power in the top lane now, as both the ADC and support for Wolfe have backed. Sylas gets his Q off onto Vladimir there, going to do some pretty good damage. Vladimir should be able to, or Silas should be able to out-trade Vladimir pretty easily in terms of just raw abilities. If Silas can avoid getting hit by those crit strike Vladimir abilities, so Vladimir Qs, he should be fine. But if he gets hit by those, it'll be a really rough time for him in the lane, just because of that pretty heavy bonus amount of damage that he's going to be tanking. So, as well as he's going to tank one right now. Vlad did proto belt for that Q just to get that Q damage, that bonus Q damage off. We've seen Ezreal Q connecting over the wall. The W also hitting on Sivir as she throws a Q down, but it's not going to be able to connect to anybody, as well as Ezreal throwing one, not going to be able to connect. Trinimir now pushed under tower, against York. York having to push the wave back out. Trinimir's not going to be able to secure a turret plating from it, though. He's only being able to get half of one down, so both lanes push pretty evenly. It's currently 10 minutes in. It's going to check the gold difference. It's currently 1 kill to nothing in favor of the Yellow Jackets, with a 300 gold lead in favor, or about 400 gold lead in favor of Wolfe County at this point. They have been doing pretty well in the farming. We see Trinimir now potentially going in on York. We see the dash coming over from the side. Warwick coming in from the bot lane. The root going to connect. He's not going to be able to get his ult off. We see Pantheon ulting into top side. A flash from York. Going to try and get away, but not going to be enough as the Pantheon ult still does connect. Trinimir dashing under wall, or under turret, as he's going to be able to give the kill to Pantheon. York was sadly caught in that Trinimir, in that Pantheon ult, which was a pretty big problem for him there. Gold distance is now even between the two teams, as it looks like Pantheon, Vlad, and Trinimir are now going to be going for that Rift Herald. We see Silas trying to push up mid, potentially going to contest it, but he won't be able to do anything by himself at this point. The Q from Morgana is going to connect on Alistar in the bush as he was clearing wards, so this is going to be a free Rift Herald for the Yellow Jackets. Alistar's going to go with the knock-up on Sivir. We see Morgana with the Q. The ult from Morgana also going to follow, but Ezreal gets the ult off, hits both of them, but the Morgana root is going to save both of them from dying, actually. So, good play there on Morgana for saving her ADC. Ezreal managing to connect his ult on both people. Very good play there from the bot lane for Wolfe County, managing to win that trade very easily. See Trinimir dashing in behind. York going to just do a crazy amount of damage at this point. So, again, York with another W connecting there onto, an E connecting onto Trinimir. Warwick coming up from the top. We're going up from jungle. We see a teleport coming in as York, and now Blow activates his ultimate. We see Trinimir at the ultimate as well. Vladimir teleporting in top side. Going to ult onto both Warwick and York, who's going to do enough damage there. Trinimir is going to survive barely as Warwick attempts, and York also fighting off Vladimir. York is going to trade. Vlad's going to flash for that. We see Zanya's from Vlad as Pantheon ults in top lane as Vlad secures a double kill. Silas attempting to go up top to follow up and not being able to do anything. The flash from Pantheon is going to connect, and as well as the flash land-up's going to connect onto, or the flash stun is going to connect onto Silas. Silas needs to dash away here, as he does. Pantheon's going to dive under tower. W from Silas, or E's going to connect from Silas onto Pantheon. Pantheon's going to take too much damage and is going to die to tower, as Silas at least does get a kill out of that. So, Vlad did secure the kill. Vlad is currently 4-0 versus Wolfe County there. Vlad is becoming a pretty big problem at this point. He does release Rift Herald mid lane now. He's probably going to be securing first tower with that Rift Herald. Warwick going to go mid to try and stop it. He does get a pretty good damage off that tower there, as Warwick's going to come in, try and stopping Rift Herald. Q's going to connect onto him. He's going to auto-attack the minion. He is going to manage to take out the Rift Herald, though, from getting tower. Q from Morgana there connecting onto Ezreal. Again, this early game is not looking that good for Wolfe County. Vlad just doing a lot of damage, being a big problem for him. We see Ezreal, or Alistar coming with that dash as well, the knockup. We see Ezreal with the Q coming to the side. The Ignite from Alistar going to hit Morgana as the Q from Ezreal connects downtown, securing the kill on Morgana. Meanwhile, Vlad does secure first tower mid lane. Ezreal throwing another Q there. We see the ult from Ezreal going to try and kill Sivir, forcing Ezreal to flash away. almost getting the kill, but Ezreal is going to die. Potentially, nope, we see that Alistar is going to stop and save Ezreal, so good save there on Alistar. Score is currently 2-5, with a goal difference of about 1,400 in favor of the Yellow Jackets, but it might be a pretty big difference here as well, as the Yellow Jackets are going to go for their first objective of the game, going to go for their first dragon, which will be a Cloud Drake. Wolfe might want to try and stop this here if they can do so, but it looks like they're not going to be able to do anything in time, as the dragon is secured. Vlad right now being a pretty big damage dealer, a pretty big issue as well. So he does have a Zhonya's as well, so Vlad is going to be a pretty big problem for Wolfe County. Silas pushed him in the mid lane. We see Pantheon moving towards mid lane as well. The Morgana route not going to be able to hit anything down bot side. York is successfully out trading as Tryndamere in the top lane, but he's just going to have to be relying, worrying about that ultimate from Tryndamere. So Silas now pushing back into mid lane as Vlad also moves up. The Q from from Silas connecting. We see the Proto Belt as well. Going to try and get some damage there, but not going to be able to do anything as Silas does manage to dash away from it. Tryndamere does have a static shiv already, so pretty big amount of damage there from him. Warwick coming in top side, maybe looking for another gank here. As Tryndamere does back off, Warwick is going to have to be back off as well because Ezreal goes in the bush. Vlad waiting for him there as he goes in ult from Vladimir onto Ezreal. The stopwatch from Ezreal is going to manage to save him potentially as Alistar and Ezreal is going to knock him up under tower. He's going to tank too much damage. Tryndamere taking top lane as well. Silas coming in bot side. He's going to get the kill, securing it, shutting down Silas. Pantheon going for the chase. He does steal the ulti from Pantheon. He's going to try and go for that double dash, though, as Warwick comes down from jungle as well. This is going to be able to avoid it. He's going to tank as Warwick's going to go for the chase. He is going to manage to secure that kill on Pantheon. So, good shutdowns there from Wolfe County. Ezreal sadly did get caught there under tower. Vlad just being able to tower dive that easily was a big problem for him. But Silas did get a shutdown onto Vlad. So, good shutdown on his part. He did secure a 400 gold shutdown in favor for Silas. So, good job there. Silas now roaming around the bot side jungle, going for a honey fruit, going to heal himself back up some. He did steal a Pantheon ult, so he will be able to potentially jump down to other lanes if he does it right. So, turning around some good team fights. So, good ult to steal for those team fights. He's going to have to look for them, though. Looking for the right setups. Score is currently 4-7 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. We see an ult coming down bot side from Silas. Going to be far out of range, though. Not going to be able to do anything on it. Silas throws his E there. Not going to be able to connect with anybody. He threw it a little too far to the right, so he should have played it behind them, but he couldn't have predicted that at that point. So it's not the worst issue in the world. That does mean Silas is out of his ultimate, though. He's going to have a cooldown wait to get his back. Vlad is pushing up the mid lane now. As we see Silas now pushing in from the jungle, going to try and stop. We see Warwick coming in from the side as well. Vlad is going to try and throw the E, going to miss it. As Warwick comes from the side, the fear activated from Warwick. He is going to get it off. Vladimir ulting Silas and Warwick here. The ult from Pantheon coming down as well. York is going to, as Vlad manages to take out both Warwick and Silas. Warwick just being, Silas just, God, Vlad being a huge problem at this point. Just doing far too much damage, as well as that Pantheon following up is a pretty big problem. The wall attempting to knock in, or to keep in Vladimir, as he gets another Q off, just doing far too much damage right now. York attempted to rotate and do something, but he couldn't be able to do anything. Point Wolfe County is down about 3,000 gold here. This is not looking good for them at this point. Tryndamere now continuously split pushing the top lane. Pantheon is going to secure his red buff as York and Tryndamere continuously push the top lane. Let's go and check the scores real quick. York is currently up about 30 CS in the top lane. The score is 0-3 though against Tryndamere. Tryndamere again being a really hard champion for him to play against, so it's understandable. The junglers, Warwick up about 15 CS in the jungle. Silas down about 50 CS in the mid lane. as the bot laners, Ezreal's up about 10 CS. So there's that. Gold difference is down about 3,000 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. We see York is trying to defend against Tryndamere. Tryndamere is going to dash in from the side here. Going to go in close, taking a little bit of tower damage there as York tries to push him off, but not going to be able to do much here. Tryndamere again coming with another dash in from the side. York having to play defensive now because Tryndamere at this point is just a really high amount of damage. Vladimir is going down bot lane though, looking for I don't know what exactly he's looking for. There's no tower down there, so. Oh, another thing too. Each tier there is. Let's go and check the stats real quick. The score is currently 9-4 at 20 minutes in favor of the Yellow Jackets. We see now the entirety of the Yellow Jackets team minus Tryndamere pushing towards bot side. Silas rotated down towards bot side. We see Ezreal and Alistar having to play defensive now. We see the Yellow Jackets are going for another Drake here. This one being a Mountain Drake. Silas could steal it over the wall with his Q. Ezreal throws another Q over there connecting. And see Alistar trying to defend it off. We see another Q over. We see Silas is going to try and get the Q off. Is not going to be able to secure it. Almost taking it though. Silas taking a ton of damage though. As we see see Vlad with his thing. We see Pantheon ulting over the wall. His stun is going to connect on Alistar. York trying to follow up, but Vlad's going to secure a double kill here. As Vlad's going to proto belt away. Ezreal does manage to barely escape, but he's going to give a triple kill to Vlad. As Pantheon throws a spear to secure and kill on Ezreal. Warwick is going to try and do something mid lane, but it is not looking good in favor of Wolfgang this game, so. We're trying to defend tower mid lane, ain't going to do anything to pour a veil as Vlad and Pantheon are just able to easily take it. Well, you see York teleporting at the top side, going to try and stop that tower from being taken. We see Vlad and Pantheon now pushing toward top side as well, going to go and take Warwick's blue buff now, as Tryndamere just continuously pushes the lane. Warwick warding blue buff and not being able to do anything about it, as Pantheon and Vlad just continue to take his jungle. See Alistar going to clear some wards there, laying some wards of his own, trying to get some vision in that topside jungle. As Tryndamere is now backing in top lane, Silas and York moving around topside as well. Pantheon is now backing in the topside pixel brush. As the bot lane wave is getting pushed back towards their tower, so they will need someone. York is looking like he's doing so. He's going to rotate or decide to back, maybe to get that. No, they're going to let the wave is bot side is pushing up, so someone will need to take care of that pretty soon. It looks like Ezreal, Warwick, and Alistar are now moving down towards bot side to clear that wave out. Silas pushed up towards mid lane. Gonna try and get that wave pushed out too. There are wards though from the Yellow Jackets on the Baron buff, so they might be getting ready to set up for the Baron at 22 minutes, as it looks like they might be doing so. You see Pantheon pushing the lane up in mid, as Vlad and Sivir are going to start the Baron. We see an engage from. We see the Yellow Jackets are going to engage, trying to get Baron. We see Alistar coming from the side, going to try and stop it. Ezreal throwing Qs over the wall, trying to stop them from getting it, but it looks like they're going to be able to get it pretty easily. Unless Ezreal can throw an ult here and maybe stop it. We see a Q from Ezreal. The ult from Ezreal going to hit it, but not going to be able to kill it in time. As we see now an engage from Alistar, we're going to see Sivir going to tank her, try and ult it with her stopwatch. We see okay, there's a lot going on here. York does secure the kill on Pantheon. Silas does secure a double kill. Vlad's going to try and win away the ult from knockup from them, as he's going to proto belt to the side, but not be enough, as York does secure another kill. A good team fight in favor of Wolfgang, but that's not going to be much, as Tryndamere is going to be able to split push down the bot lane. They need to get back there immediately and stop him from getting that first inhib, but it doesn't look like they'll be able to do so. Tryndamere does back off, though, immediately. So Wolfgang did back. They did stop the Baron. All of the Baron buff now gone except for Tryndamere. Tryndamere is going to try and hold on to that as long as possible. So a good team fight there from Wolfgang. A good engage. Good overall team fight from Wolfgang. No one there died except Warwick, so Wolfgang did win that successfully. They did manage to get out 4 of the people, specifically including their two carries being Pantheon and Vlad. Good shutdown on Vlad, too, so 650 gold for York, definitely being a good power boost. He did go from 0-3 to 2-4 now, so he is starting to get rid of a more damage coming his way. Silas as well, sitting at 4-4. The bot lane for both teams as well, not being as impactful this game as usual. More or less just being focused towards the mid lane for both sides, and the jungle for the Yellow Jackets, as well as the top side for Wolfe County, being the more playmakers of the groups right now. So we see Morgana coming down by side. The Q gonna miss. Ezreal is gonna out trade nothing and just land all of his abilities onto him there, onto Morgana. He did ult for unnecessarily there, but he did manage to nonetheless take out Morgana. Score's currently 9-14 in favor of Yellow Jackets. Gold difference about 5,000 in favor, or 4,000. No, about 5,000 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. With those 6 towers. Wolfe County definitely does need to start getting towers here soon. Towers, they need to start getting those objectives pretty hard. York just continuously just trying to push Tryndamere back off his tower top lane. Tryndamere just doing split pushing non-stop. Going to be a big issue for them. Silas does have Vladimir ultimate, so if they do get into a team fight and he does throw that Vlad ult onto them, he should be able to, benefit greatly from landing that if he does enough damage. We see Alistar coming in from the side. The knockup's going to connect onto Tryndamere. We see the wall thrown up from York. Not going to be able to do anything. The stun does connect from Alistar, forcing Tryndamere to flash away. As it looks like they are going to try and go for an Infernal Drake now. This would be a big problem. Ezreal does ult over the wall, not going to be able to do anything. We see Vlad going to try and activate his ultimate onto them. The pull going to come from the side. Pantheon going to flash over the wall as well. York ulting, but not going to be able to do anything with it. Ezreal going to try and hit some stuff. We see Vlad with his W not going to be connect. The Proto Belt going to miss. Ezreal, we see the E connecting, as well as the bite from Warwick. Going to be able to secure and get that kill on Vladimir. Wolfe County is now starting to do a lot more of this. Definitely turning it around in these last couple of engages between the two teams. Again, closing that gap in kills. But they do need to start closing that gap in turrets with a 6-0 turret difference in favor of Yellow Jackets. Definitely being a hindrance for them this game. As well as 3 Drakes. An Infernal Ocean, or an Infernal Mountain, and in a Cloud Drake. Wolfe County now pushing up the mid lane as Tryndamere now again split pushes the top side. We see York trying to do something top lane, trying to push Tryndamere off. He's going to let his Q there, his W. Tryndamere's going to try and just stay under that wall. He's going to spin away. Going to take a little bit of tower damage as the E from Ezreal's connect. We see Warwick coming to the side with his Fear. Is going to connect onto Tryndamere. Tryndamere does activate his ultimate. He is ulting onto Warwick now. He just goes for the dash. He's going to, as this ult runs out in time, Pantheon does ult topside, but far too late as Warwick does secure that kill. Did Warwick secure the kill? Yeah, Warwick got the kill. It's a very stressful game for Wolfe County, to say the least. I know they've had a lot of issues, specifically in the early game, now that they've managed to hit that mid game. Getting close to late game, actually. This is where people such as, Silas and York, as well as Silas, York, and Warwick will start to shine through. Ezreal as well. The entirety of Wolfe County's team starting to shine through. They do have a little bit more of a late game team comp. Tryndamere hasn't managed to get pop off specifically, so he's not being the biggest threat to them at this point. Wolfe County will now go and secure their first tower of the game now as well. So that first tower for Wolfe County has fallen, being that first tier 1 mid lane tower. So Vlad throws a Q there. They're not going to do anything with that, as Ezreal's Q does connect with Vlad, doing a pretty good amount of damage. Okay, now all sitting in Pixel Brush, looking to back maybe, or look for an invade. Okay, now decides to move to mid lane now. All going to try and continuously push that mid lane up. See, all of Wolfe County push towards mid lane now. Pantheon's ult is up as well. Tryndamere's ult is down, so if they want to engage on Tryndamere, now would be the best time to do it. His ult will probably be up in the next 10 seconds, so they will have to watch out for that if they start getting into team fights, as well as Vlad having a stopwatch, or Zanya's. So they'll want to get him bursted down before he can use a stopwatch, or manage to avoid a good portion of that damage from his ultimate before he manages the stopwatch and Pantheon able to ult in onto them. We see Vlad moving a ward now as they all move towards Baron buff. Wolfgang now moving up to join them. Tryndamere split pushing the bot lane as York moves up towards topside. The split pushing from Tryndamere is becoming a big issue. Tryndamere's going to be able to get that inhibitor bot lane as York is able to teleport down there to try and stop it. We see York does teleport down to bot side, going to stop Tryndamere for as long as possible. The ult from York going to come in there as well. York trying to push off Tryndamere. Tryndamere's just going to go in, just bursting him down. We see him spinning away, just trying to hold off, trying to do some more, split pushing. Ezreal does throw a Q over the wall, going to connect with Vladimir. We see Sivir with the ult coming in, so we do see an engage. We see Pantheon ulting in on them as well. The ult from Ezreal going to connect with 3 people. Pantheon's going to get his ult. It's not if we see the ult from Vlad going to do too much damage. Silas does secure the kill on Vlad. The ult on the Pantheon from Warwick as Alistar is able to knock them up and save them. So it was a 1-for-1 trade there. Ezreal did dive in exchange for Vladimir, but between the two of them, Wolfgang did, I would say, come out victorious on that because they managed to take down the far bigger threat at this point, being the Vladimir. Pantheon's ult did manage to get completely nullified there by Wolfgang being able to jump out of it. So Silas does have his ultimate up now. He should be able to steal another one. Pantheon going to clear his top side jungle. As Tryndamere again continuously split pushes in the bot lane. If Wolfgang can get around that and not have to manage to keep those lanes pushed back while Tryndamere is split pushing, if he's not able to push that far, Wolfgang should be able to win these fights and get that pushing, that counter push out successfully. Okay, now goes down, going to try and stop Tryndamere. Tryndamere just going to split push. The Fear not going to connect. Warwick coming in from the side, going to try and stop him. As Tryndamere is able to walk away. Tryndamere just been continuously split pushing this entire game. Ezreal throwing spills out there, not going to connect any of them, sadly. The Q does connect there from Ezreal, though, onto Tryndamere. We see the Yellow Jackets are going to go for another Baron this game. As Wolfgang goes for a Mountain Drake. Tryndamere does flash there. Wolfgang does secure their Mountain Drake as the Baron is secured by the Yellow Jackets. They do back now, as Tryndamere backing as well. Vladimir decides to push the top lane out. You do see Morgana, Sivir, and Vlad pushing top lane out now. Ezreal and Alistar trying to push them back out. We see Warwick as well, York coming top. Silas, well, the entirety of Wolfgang pushing top lane now. Vlad's going to try and use a protobot, not going to get over the wall, just doing a little bit of damage there. You see now Wolfgang moving towards mid lane. York again staying towards bot side again, trying to deal with Tryndamere split pushing. We see majority of the Yellow Jackets have backed and are now moving back to lane as they all decide to converge into mid lane. Tryndamere going to take out the York ultimate. Warwick coming down bot side again on Tryndamere as the rest of the Yellow Jackets going to push up mid lane. Score's currently 15-12 in favor of the Yellow Jackets with a 4,000 gold lead. Continues to be about a 4,000 gold lead. It's been about the furthest gap it's been this game. The 7-1 turret difference. That turret difference there being the biggest issue for Wolfgang at this point. We see now all of the Yellow Jackets now pushing towards mid lane. Tryndamere again being split pushing. That side pressure being a major threat for Wolfgang for sure. As Vlad is going to get a Q off there. Not going to do much damage with it at all though. Just being a base level Q. Sivir now activates the ultimate. Pantheon going to ultimate side. Alistar going to get the 3-man knock up there. The ult from Ezreal is going to connect on 3 people there. We see Morgana with the ult. Zanya's as Vlad's going to flash away with the stopwatch. Going to heal crazy amount of damage from that ultimate. York going to secure the kill on Morgana as Vlad takes out Warwick and Sivir takes out Alistar. York's going to try and stop it with a flash away. Going to get that kill on Pantheon though. So York does secure a double kill, but he's not going to be able to defend by himself against 3 people. We see Tryndamere securing that bot lane as he's been doing the entire game, as Vlad's going to take that mid lane. Both players now moving up. We see Vlad is going to try and push that mid lane up pretty heavily. York can't do much anything at this point against it. Vlad just healing far too much. As Tryndamere joins him, they're going to try and take those towers. The first tower does fall on Nexus. York getting united from Vlad there. Both turrets fall. Tryndamere and Vlad are going to be able to secure it and get that first turret for the first game lost for the final 8.
This is a best-of-3 series, so we'll be back with game number 2 here in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.